So day four, final day of the 4-day implementation sprint for your LinkedIn outreach campaign. And so it's a really great time to be able to just lean in and do a little bit of this marketing each time as we go. And that's what we do here. It's about refining message, coming up with some ideas, getting some content out, and actually getting this campaign done. So some really great examples of people leaning in and getting results. So I'm going to share those in a second. So if we're just going to do share screen in here, and let's just get this started. So let's just go. Perfect. Okay, good stuff. So yesterday, just as a quick recap, remember we covered off that we were setting up a bit of a calendar booking link and reviewing how that works because we're going to be using that soon. And also we did a connection campaign. So we were connecting out to 20 people on your of new people. So the idea is that you do 20 new connections a day, and then you do 80 DMs to your first three connections, making it the 100 club, hitting the 100 club. And today we're going to show you how that all gets kind of put together within a weekly structure, and also some cool ideas in terms of tracking it. So how do you know where you left off? All of that fun stuff. So we're going to go through all of that. I just wanted to just ping up a couple of people who had shared within the community. Mia, I saw that you're on here. Are you, can you unmute yourself and say, or
Yes, hi there. You okay?
Hello, morning, how you doing?
Morning.
The Wellbeing Sherpa is here. I love it.
Yes, I'm
Welcome,
here.
welcome. So looks like from your fantastic update here, a bit of an interesting return of
Yes.
Fullet. So do you want to tell the story of this?
Yeah, very, very surprised actually. I think um I think I used ChatGPT a couple of times to tweak the message that you had, and then asked it several times to make it more fun and more not so serious. And I think that helped 100%, because then the response was different. The response that I did get, I didn't get, I got people joking about if they were under 40, because I'm targeting 40-year-old women. I also, let me just say, when I went through my list, I actually just went through my contacts. I didn't section it. I'm just literally going to go through all my contacts, my connections, sorry, of people, the women over 40. That's what I'm doing. But I then also, in regards to connections, I found some really good groups because I'm vegan. So I found some vegan executives, executive groups, because I thought, they have a better ability to pay. And so I've been sending out requests to them as well. So they will suit more what I offer, I think,
Yeah,
rather than me always having to, do I have to go vegan to do what you do? You know,
yeah.
and I think it's that because I am more plant-based, but I will work with people who are meat eaters. But anyway, back to my response. Really happy because I had somebody, she's actually in here, who doesn't live very, Christine, doesn't live very far from me. So we're going to talk about collaboration. So that's brilliant. That's somebody from LinkedIn for Breakfast.
Well, hey,
And also in regards to my bookings, yes, I've got one who could also become a collaboration because she's a color specialist. She does color analysis. So
okay.
yeah, really happy.
Fantastic, good
And
stuff.
you know what I feel about LinkedIn, Richard?
Yeah, it's not your
I've always
place.
been very leaning back from LinkedIn. But on a positive note, I've just seen that I've got a 50% uptake on people looking at my Instagram in the last month.
Well, hey, that's great.
And
So,
that's thanks to stuff that I've done with you, Richard.
oh, that's awesome. So it's sort of both platforms working, and I think that's the point that you may well be more leaning towards a different platform, but by having a bit of a system for
Yes,
LinkedIn, then you're no longer going, well, what do I actually do with this? I've got a system, I've got a way of working, and here it is.
yes,
Fantastic. Well, congratulations, Mia. That's awesome. So 2 meetings, so interesting to see how those goes. Do keep us
I
updated.
will do.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well done. Congratulations.
Can you answer later the question with LinkedIn as well? Just later.
What's the question?
Um, Myself and somebody else, we keep being I keep being kicked out of LinkedIn while I'm doing the work. I keep being kicked out and then logged back in. And when it's kicking me out and trying to going to log me back in, it flags up in the corner the policy, about the reminder about the agreement and the policy. But it's just a reminder. It doesn't tell me to confirm it or anything. It just flashes up.
Okay. So what you probably will find is if you've not done anything on LinkedIn for a while, and then suddenly you're hitting the 100 club straight off the bat, that could potentially have the scenario that you have. But what we're doing is we're staying under the safe guidelines here, and particularly what I'll show you in terms of the structure of how your week should look, will kind of keep you within the acceptable parameters of LinkedIn. So although probably LinkedIn's seeing it and going, hey, you haven't done anything forever, and then suddenly you're like, whoa, 80 odd messages, 65 messages. That's probably the thing that's pinging it up. So the fact that your activity today, which I'll show you, is going to be slightly different in terms of new approaches. We're not going to be making many new approaches today. With more returning, you should be okay. But do take it seriously because although what would happen is that they would only kind of pause your account for 2 days, is tend to be the sort of wrist slap. It's actually good that little message is starting to pin up because that will just let you know. So what my recommendation to you is stay within these parameters. Don't go OTT. You've got the nudges that you can do today, but I wouldn't go any more than say 20 connection requests today and then go and do these nudges. If you started to do sort of 30, 40 connection requests today, you probably get a wrist slap. That's new.
Do you think that LinkedIn works a bit like with Facebook? If you do things too quickly as well, or too much in Facebook, there's the recommendation to maybe only do so much per hour.
Yeah, you might want to do a bit, then post, and then do a bit, or do half at lunch, half in the evening. I don't know, all that sort of stuff, fun stuff.
Great suggestion. Thank you, Richard.
No drama, no drama. Good stuff, good question. Let's get on to the next one. So Dawn, congratulations. You hit your 100 club. How did you find it, Dawn?
Yeah, I had a bit more of a less overthinking. And yeah, I just felt it did take me a long time. It took me my whole morning. But then I did feel good that I'd been proactive. And I think a little bit like Richard, I was kind of going in and just checking. Some of them I did get this like feeling like, I just want to see if they're still at that company. I think from a previous message where people are like, oh, thanks for actually looking at my profile. I've left there now. And so that was stuck in my head. So occasionally I did that and I'm glad that I did. So I just tweaked it a little bit, but I got there and sending out to 20 requests. So yeah, it felt really good. Really good.
And you got a reply.
I got a reply. I was like over the moon. I'm like, it does work. And like you say, sometimes it might take a little while, but they just went, yeah, thanks very much. And yeah, here's my email. Love to chat next week. Now, this is really good timing because then I sent here's the link and not heard. So I needed a nudge. So this is perfect timing.
Yeah, cool. And the nudge will be more for the people that haven't responded to you, but actually you don't want to not nudge that person. I wouldn't do today because obviously you only sent it yesterday, but I'd certainly do it Friday.
Okay.
And I can give you a bit of a craft on that if you like, but we'll do that in the Q&A at the end. And Richard, I know we were talking just before we went to recording, but again, congratulations. So you were saying that you were doing a little bit more tailoring for it, so it's good for people to hear that you were kind of tailoring the messages. Any advice to people in terms of how you were tailoring for your connections? You're muted, bud. Richard, you're muted.
Yeah, if we'd had an interaction in the past, I might reference that. If I went to the same university, I might reference that. Or if I spotted something obvious in the profile, I'd put, like, one woman was in Bermuda, and I mentioned bringing her sunshine from Bermuda, things like that. I'd make like a jokey thing at the top. So in some ways, as much as just to keep me motivated, because it's it's boring, right? So after like the 20th, I'm like, okay, how can I make this fun for me? Right, that was part of it.
No, that's cool. I mean, it's two schools of thought because some will do the search and then not even look on their profiles and just go copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, which is kind of the more kind of efficient time-wise way of doing it, but yeah, not so efficient in terms of tailoring. And it's always those little bespoke bits. Like if we could tailor every single message, then of course the results will be better. So it's down sort of time versus output, etc. But that's great, and obviously got the coffee booked as well. So happy to
and one request for a coffee as well from a guy in Holland.
Oh, nice. So a bit of both.
Quite a few nice messages, because the other thing I said, Richard, really struck me yesterday. You said don't chase two rabbits, and so I was doing the direct on the first day, but I've also got a webinar I'm promoting for next month, and I thought, why am I trying to do like the direct and the webinar? So I switched it to focus all on the webinar. Nice. And got some nice messages on that. Oh, I'm out of town, but thanks for inviting me, sort of thing. So
cool. Good work. Congratulations, mate. Love it. And we've got a quick question from Les before we get started with today. Go for it, Les.
Yeah, it was really just a comment. Like Richard, well, I'm an existing sprinter, you know that. And so I've got my VA doing a lot of this already in the background. This is a refresher as much as anything else. But like Richard, I tend to very specifically look at the messaging that I'm sending to people. And not only do I do things like looking at, do they go to the same university, etc., but I look at the posts that they're making so that I can comment and say, I read your article about, or I read your piece about, or I saw your post recently about this. And that, I'm adding connections to my list at the rate of about 4 to sort of 8 a day. So in terms of building my audience, which is my primary focus, it's working. But so far, I've not kind of cracked the how do I get appointments and bookings out of it. But that's a sort of secondary objective, really.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It's then I think then once you start to build these connections, then it's about where are we dragging them to? What's the next step in the funnel? So love that. Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Les. Good shout. Good shout. Let's jump in. I think there's a long message there from Mark, so I won't jump on that straight away. Let's work through. So today we're going to cover this nudge campaign, and we're also going to give you a bit of a dashboard to track things, and so that's super important. Okay. So here's where it sits within this campaign structure. So we've obviously primed the profile, we've been doing the outreach, we've been getting the calendar booked, and today we're going to do this nudge campaign, right? So here is the template for this campaign. And it's just super easy. It's just bubbling this up to the surface and no things get lost all the time. Let me know if there's a good time to speak next week. Does Thursday afternoon work, right? So this is the loop back and then the specific, right? So it shows that you are serious and keen and also suggesting a time and date, right? So, and it doesn't matter if you haven't got Thursday available or someone else has already booked it, just bang this one out, because if then someone says, oh yeah, Thursday works, what time? You could, and if it's already gone by the time they reply, you can just say, hey, sorry, that slot just got booked. Could you do Friday morning? But they're talking to you. So this is the message that we want to talk about today. So let me just stick this into the chat so you can copy and paste it into a document or something that you've got. Paste. There you go. Lovely. And so here's the content in here. So just to break this down, you are saying to someone, hey, I just want to, I understand you get lots of messages, so let's get this to the top of your inbox. And actually this works well for email follow-up as well. And say that you understand and get lost. It's pressure off, no worries. I know things happen, and obviously this stuff is always going to people, but you're saying I'm genuinely interested to chat next week, and then you give a specific time, just Thursday afternoon work, which is great for the human brain, because people now are kind of going, oh, actually, I'm probably free for a coffee Thursday afternoon, right? Or no, I'm completely out of action next Thursday, but I can squeeze you in Friday, and it's that. This works super well, and it almost helps to reinforce why someone should be messaging. Now, if you are Richard, for example, and you are doing a webinar, and you want to work in a similar way, I would be going back to them and just saying, hey, just bumping up to the surface, everything gets lost all the time. Let me know if if you can make the webinar next week, because we only have a limited amount of seats and I don't want you to miss out. Something along those lines, right? And it's true, even if you're doing it on a Zoom or whatever, you might only have 100 places that your Zoom license will allow you to have. So it's not like it's like, well, it's a digital event. These things never get sold out. You say, no, actually, we cap it at 100 people. So it's that, So this is super important. Now, how does this work, right? So these would be your 80 for today. And what you're doing is you're looping back to the people that you messaged on Tuesday. Okay. So for this week, this is how it's going to work. We're going to be nudging your Tuesdays, and then on Friday, we're going to be nudging your Fridays. But next week, you're going to be doing it more like this. Okay. So this is how the perfect week should look like in terms of outreach. On Monday and Tuesday is what we call the opening the conversation days, right? So you are opening up the chat and you are messaging the 80 first degree connections, and you're still doing your 20 connection requests. In fact, your 20 connection requests happen every single day of the week. So 20 on Monday, 20 on Tuesday, 20 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you got 20 as well. So you are always adding 100 new connections a week, and you're doing it 20 a day, because that just keeps the rhythm. It's not over connecting. You're not going to have the problem that Mia's got if you're trying to send 80 connection requests in a day, that sort of stuff. You're doing that 20 a day. And it's just rhythmic. A lot of people will find it's nice and easy to send 20 connection requests, because you can go onto LinkedIn, maybe do a post, maybe interact with some other stuff, send out quickly 20 connection requests. Because remember, it's like bam, bam, bam. Especially if you got the free version of LinkedIn, you're just going to be hitting the connection button 20 times. It's not massively difficult. If you're sending a bespoke message, connect and then bespoke message. So not bespoke message, but the copy and paste message, which is the hey, just a friendly coach, hello, how's things in this crazy world? It's that message we talked about. But then on Monday, Tuesday, we're sending out 80 new DMs to your first degree connections. And then Thursday, we're going to nudge the people on Monday. Friday, we're going to nudge the people on Tuesday. And that becomes your outreach week. Okay. So that gives you 160 first degrees per week, right? So it's not a case that you are doing 80 times 4 days. It's actually 80 on the Monday, 80 on Tuesday, and then we're nudging the 80 on the Thursday, and we're nudging the 80 on the Friday. So it's only 160 people. So we then think about, what is your runway? And if your runway means that remember we did that ratio and we saw that my low hanging fruit was 743 within that industry sector, then that gives me 743 divided by 160 a week gives me 4.6 weeks, the best part, a month essentially of outreach. And then what do we do at the end of that month? Well, we can switch industry sectors. We can switch to another vertical. We can switch to another slight message. We can update our headline again, switch it across, or you can have a break for a month and just do the 20 a day. And then you can loop back to those people again if you have got a small amount of connections, and send them another message. Maybe this time, instead of going straight to the meeting, you could go into a webinar or send them an ebook or something along those lines. So, and also the next time you go back to these people, it won't be 743 first degree connections, because you've been sending 100 connection requests a week. So if half of them accept that connection, you're going to be growing by 50 new people a week, which is going to give you, after 3 weeks, another week of first degree connection runway, right? If you see what I mean, because see 50 new connections a week times by 3 is 150. So if you can do 160 in a week, that's about what you're adding on. So you're always trying to clamp on this runway, and you're always building your connection base whilst also then messaging them with different bits, right? So this is how that works. Cool. Any questions on that? Any questions on this? No? Deborah, go for it.
Richard, my PA asked if he should archive the messages to keep the inbox tidy or something. I mean, I don't know 100% how it works. I've not been doing it myself. Should he do that if we're doing this?
He shouldn't. He shouldn't archive. He shouldn't archive the messages from the outreach. But if it's messages that are people you're not interested in, or people who are not target market who are trying to sell stuff to you, yeah, why not clear them out? Why, get them out the inbox. But I wouldn't faff around too much with that. It's time not spent in the right place. I would say so. And also when your chap's doing it, it's a slightly different process. And so just for context, that when we're working that, we would have done it from a data scrape. So if you look at it from an endpoint's point of view, if you look at the inbox, that's great. Here's the inbox. You can archive if you want to clear it up. But actually, where he's working, he's got a whole list of targets, and then he's DMing those targets. So he's actually pulled it down like that. So you're not going to miss out on the people that you're messaging because they're there, as opposed to worrying about the inbox. So it's not bad. It's not like you're going to miss these people because they're already here and we're looping back. But for example, on this, so guys, just for context, when we're doing outreach, we'll pull a sheet that looks like this. We use a paid for software to do this, which is why I obviously don't train it in this session, because it's I don't want to tell everybody to have to go sign up for paid software all the time. It's just not how. It's just you guys wouldn't take action straight off the bat. It's the most important to take action. But when we're doing it, we will pull it onto a spreadsheet, and then if someone says no, they go gray. So when say this person here said no, then that potentially you might archive that message because they've said no and they're not interested, right? That might be a way of doing it, but I wouldn't sweat the small stuff so much on that, to be honest.
Okay, they said something about trying to keep the inbox in tidy or whatever, but I don't know. All right, but you wouldn't bother with the archiving.
Well, I wouldn't archive stuff that you're hoping to hear back from them on. Everything else you could do.
Okay, all right, thanks.
No worries. Richard.
Yeah, so obviously I've gone a little bit more tailored over quantity, in terms of the time it takes me to do it. So is it better I go for a lower target? Because obviously what I've done this week is not going to be sustainable every week. Do I go for 50, but with a higher tailoring? Or do you think, no, Richard, just do straight, don't worry about the tailoring and just do 100? Where are you?
I think it's just down to what the first degree connections you're going for. So if you've got a very simplified connection request, like you're trying to go for this industry or this type of person, and you're outreaching to people you don't know, then you just go for the numbers, because that's the machine then, and that's easy to delegate. So what you're creating is a system that you can't delegate at the moment because you're having to do it, right? So that's why you want a system that you can delegate, because you don't want to be stuck in the game, right? Doing it the whole time. So that's why you do something that's a little bit more methodical like this, because it's hard to do it. Now, you could delegate the whole kind of, look on their profile, find something interesting, notification. As long as you can do that as a very simplified process with templates, you could probably delegate parts of that. But it's a lot easier to get that one message and that rhythm going, because you'll get the volume in.
And I think that will probably get a bit easier as I grow my connections, because right now I know a lot of these people. I've had interactions in the past.
Yeah.
And it's going to come across weird just to get a straight up generic message. So I think as I have more fresh connections I don't have a history with,
exactly,
it's going to be easier to be more generic.
100%. And also because you then start a conversation with these people, if someone's then coming back behind you and actually working on this with you, they'll see that previous conversation. So they won't just copy and paste it straight in. They'll see there's a conversation and go, okay, there's already been a chat going on here and they've replied. Oh, it's easy just to pen a reply for that, or I forward that on to you for you to review. And then you can just go back to the people that are replying who are already in existing chats.
Got it.
So it's almost a good practice for you to get through your entire connections that you know, send the messages out, and then everybody else is just fresh, and you just work the template to them.
Got it. Okay, so kind of a mixed approach. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mark, last question, and then I'll go on to the tracking side.
Thanks, Richard. You might have answered there. I had to pop out for a short bit, so if you did, I can go back over the recording. But in terms of the outreach, I'd love to know what sees the best returns. Is it the weekly moment or a meeting in my diary?
Well, it really depends on how warm your first degree connections are. So the idea here is that most people who come into this challenge fresh is their first degree connections are a little bit aware of them. And so going for the meeting is usually the best way to go to your current connections, shake the tree and get those first wave of meetings out. Then once you've done that, then you want to go back with getting people along to an event, getting them to subscribe to your podcast, whatever it is, because then it's a little bit less, if they didn't go for the meeting, then perhaps they're going to go for something else, right? And so that would be what I'd say on that front.
Great. And just one more question. I see that every time you have a weekly moment, you have a specific message that goes out in email. I don't think Zoom does that. So if I don't have school, what approach would you use? Would it be a MailerLite, or how would you go about it?
Yeah, you would use an email marketing system. So you would just get your database onto an email marketing, and then you'll be then sending an email out to attract people to go on to your event.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And just right briefly, you mentioned the sentence, the connection request sentence, and it was very quick. At the very end, you mentioned how are things in this crazy world. What did you say before that?
Yeah, so that was on day 3, but I can give it to you. So it's hi. So you'd be saying, "Hi, Mark, just a friendly coach to coach. Hello, how are things in this crazy world?" Right? But if you're not targeting coaches as a coach, then you might say, "Hey, just a friendly, hello from Ireland. How are things in this crazy upside down world?"
Sounds great. Thanks a million.
Yeah. So something like that, just something familiar, just a friendly Irish hello, could be quite cool, so something like that. How are things in this crazy world? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're just trying to use it. So if I was targeting people in London, I'd say, "Hey, just a friendly hi from a fellow Londoner. How's things in this crazy upside down world?" Whatever it is. Yeah.
Great.
Wicked.
Thanks.
No worries. Okay, guys. So that's where we're on for that front. So the next piece I see as being really important. Obviously, Peter Drucker, famous quote: "What gets measured gets managed." I'm a big believer of what gets measured gets improved. So to help, we've created a bit of a dashboard for you to track this, because we know as you go through this, it's good to be able to have something with the numbers. Now, don't go, "Oh my God, it's a spreadsheet and it's got very garish colors on it." So I do apologize for that. One day I will change it to different color schemes. But this is just a nice dashboard if you are interested in keeping track of what your return on investment is from the actual outreach that you're doing. So let me just show you here live this dashboard, and then you can copy and paste it, get yourself a copy of it, and then this will help you. So I'm just putting this into the chat now. Okay, good stuff. And on here, this is the outreach spreadsheet here that you'll get. So the first page that you get onto, the first tab, basically just reminds you to go up to File and make a copy of it. So you can't edit this one. You've got to make a copy of it. And then I'm saying, look at the bottom and see the other tab for the spreadsheet. So at the bottom here, we've got the LinkedIn outreach spreadsheet, and here's the dashboard. Okay, so hopefully you can all make yourself a copy of that. I can see many of you are actually on this dashboard now. And so if you're $1 million sprinter, you'll know that you've got a far bigger dashboard with lots of different other things going on. This is just a simplified one for the outreach. And essentially at the top, it's the months. And you can see here these months, the data actually is pulled from the bottom part here. And then essentially, actually, I've just realized what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull just the formulas from here. The reason why I'm doing this is that the one that I've given you is the 2025 dates. And I just know that sometimes the weeks are slightly different. So if I do that and then I pull this across like this, it will just make sure. I don't think that would have made any difference to this template. But I know sometimes 1 month, 1 year, March is a 5-week month and the other year February is or whatever it is, So I think that that's going to be okay now formula wise. Good. So starts on the 30th of December. Obviously, that's what the first week of this year started on. And then these are the Mondays of each week. Can you see each week here? And you've got Q1, Q2, Q3, all go into here. So actually, if I just do this on this, I can just bring those actually in and align those in the center. There you go. So Q1, Q2, Q3, and then weeks 1 all the way through to weeks 52. So all we're looking at here is how you fill in the sheet is say that you're doing this and you're sending connection requests, right? So we're hoping to do 20 a day. So if we started on a Monday, we'd plonk in 20 like this. And then tomorrow we go back and actually if we do the next 20, we go and add in 20. So we'd put this up to 40, right? And so we know that our target is 100 connection requests a week, right? So you just go in, stick it at 60. This is where it becomes really easy to use this type of a tool to delegate it to someone to do it for you once you've got this template set up, right? And you can get VAs, really quite easily. Dawn loves the colors. Good. Okay, good. Someone does. Perfect. Thank you, Dawn. So by putting it in like this, and so say you got then up to your 100, great. We got up to 100 connection requests, and you can see that it's coming into here, and we got the nice color codes to say that you haven't hit target against this target, etc. So it's quite fun. And then we do the first degree messages like this, and then we'll say, right, I've sent out my first 80, put it into here, and then we can start to see the messages come in against this. Now, if you get positive replies, great. So I know that Mia had 3 positive replies and she had 2 calls booked, right? So that's why it is, because one of them was like, oh, perhaps we could have a partnership request. Or Dawn said that she had someone reply and say, yes, they'd love to have a meeting. Great. So we had 1 positive reply, but we've had 0 calls booked yet because she's still waiting for the calendar to come out. So this is a really nice way for you to also see, oh, I've had this, but actually how many have converted into a meeting. Now, if that meeting does get booked with Dawn, great. That's good. And we're looking to target you on 3. So this is what we call reportings and targets and management, an RTM dashboard. Reporting, filling the data in, giving yourself a target, and then the dashboard manages your activity, right? And if you're like Richard and going, oh, I can't quite see myself doing 80, new people a day for the 2 days, then that's cool. You would just change the targets to say 40 a day, so that would be the idea. So we move this down to an 80 new people a week. So you can work it this way. But Dawn gets a positive reply that they book the call and then perfect. They say, yes, please, we make a sale. Woohoo, we got it done. You can give yourself a sales target as well, right? So it's really fun. Well, fun. I know this kind of classic, like some people will say this is as far from fun as I've ever seen. But for me, I think sometimes if you're doing the activity, by logging the data and seeing it over time, you can see trends, you can see the return, and actually it works really, really nicely. Okay. So Les says needs to be in supportive football team colours. I like it. Okay, good stuff. Yeah, I don't know many football teams that are playing in this colour strip. I think they get laughed off the pitch. But what colours should it be, Les?
Claret and blue.
Claret and blue. Okay, we'll fine. We'll have to do claret and blue. I'm not even a footballer, so I have no idea which team that would be. Who knows what team that is? Someone put it in the chat. Who would know? Who would know?
Villa.
Who?
West Ham, Aston Villa.
West Ham.
West Ham. There you go. Okay, well there you go. Well, I'm a Harlequins rugby fan, so mine would be something like brown and like a weird color of blue. So it's not quite wouldn't quite work for ours. Good stuff. We had Rob saying West Ham in there as well. Good. So this will really keep you on the straight and narrow when you're doing it. And actually, as I say, this is you building skills where you can delegate this. If you get the, remember we talked about reporting, try it, nail it, automate it, delegate it. This is huge for you to be able to track this and delegate it, because it's super important to be able to show these numbers and then send it out. Cool. Good stuff. Any quick questions on this? No,
not so much on this, Richard, but for all of the copy, across these the sprint, are you gonna send out the deck with all of the copy in?
Yeah, we can get Flora. Could you just make a note just to send out a swipe file with the outreach templates? And actually, I think there is already one available, but just get the connection request, the first degree DMs, and the nudge into a document. It's probably the best thing to do, just to have one sheet with those 3 in there. That works. And we can help with that. Cool, guys. Well, look, I tell you what, we've got a bit of a couple of slides here that you may well be interested in, and if I can just kind of show you a little bit of one, set you a target for this, and again we'll pin up the action sheet in there, but 2, just to let you know, because we talked about delegating this a little bit, and if you are interested, we could potentially help you to do this for you, and it will only take 3-4 minutes just to show you what we do at $1 Million Sprint. So if you are keen to find out a little bit more about that, please do stick around for those 3-4 minutes now. So just remember, the actions are to send your nudge to your 80 and then send out another 20 connection requests. So you're going to hit the 100 club today, and then fill in your new outreach dashboard, reflecting what you've done so far this week on the right week. Okay. So here you go. We're going to make this as a action. So our action today is, are you on the board? So have you got your data on the tracking board, and did you make it to the 100 club? That's the actions for today. But cool. Look, if you are watching this and you're thinking there's a lot to do here, and Richard's got clearly systems, a plan, can see it working, got clients that will back that up, then perhaps this might be something that I can see that sounds good, but I don't quite want to be the person having to do this. Well, we've got a product for you in $1 Million Sprint. And what we do is give you 5 things. We kind of circle you with 5 core elements that we see are vital when you're running a business. The first thing is we give you support and growth consulting, a little bit like today, right? Or this week. We do 4 drop-in clinics a week, 10 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And they are different topics and different help and support. They are not one of these, you've got to go to every single one, a little bit like a challenge there. Sometimes we do a challenge, but most of the time you'll just drop in and out of 1 or 2 of those in the week and get help and support directly from me or one of our mentors. And the second thing we give you is a VA. That VA is going to work 4 hours a day, 5 days a week for you every week, implementing this stuff. So they're not just going to be doing things like your LinkedIn outreach, but they're also going to post your social media posts for you. They're going to be able to help you to be able to find database, work through those spreadsheets like I was showing you, be able to create different campaigns. A lot of our guys are doing events, so help you to be able to book people onto the events, host the events, even be on the events to help you to support you do this. We're then going to also give you a software called High Level, a free license to go high level, which is going to be your CRM. So all your email marketing goes into there, all of your tracking of your opportunities and your sales pipeline goes into there, and we really help you to actually put this thing together. We've got a great community. And then our community is an online community, plus we meet in person every quarter in London, or we do one retreat, which is normally us climbing a mountain and having a great time and then doing the conference afterwards. Again, all included within the price. And then the final thing is we've got a massive library of resources, swipe fast templates, a little bit like the outreach messages that you're seeing today that we're constantly growing and improving. But actually the practical side of it is when I do a one-to-one with you and kick things off, we will put together what we call a game plan. One of the game plans might look like this, which will be a system for what posts you're going to be putting out each day, of which we'll write for you, post for you, interact with the people that are commenting on it. Then we'll be doing outreach for you. So we'll be doing these 20 connection requests. We'll be doing all these DMs, and we'll be doing cold email outreach as well to complement this, which is, again, an entirely different form of being able to get new people into your world. And then we'll be doing things such as email marketing. So sending out event invites and event reminders, etc. if you're doing events. If you're not doing events, your outreach might look like this, where we're focusing on, say, a weekly newsletter, and then maybe we're doing some short videos. And again, we can edit those short videos, get the subtitles going up and looking great. So once we know what your game plan is, we put it into a bit of a project management dashboard. So we've got a full tick list of stuff that we're doing. So that's the stuff on the left. And we then have an end-to-end system that we've agreed together in our one-to-one with me at the start. And that's what your VA is then implementing. And we're constantly going back and we're seeing what's being ticked off, what's being done, and working it through that way. And look, guys, it works. This is Gavin, who didn't have an accelerator at all, didn't have a mastermind before he worked with us. And then he launched it and making multiple sales a week of his high ticket mastermind. It's about 7 to 9 grand, his mastermind. We had, this is Caroline, who through this type of outreach system that I've shown you over this week, she's selling into corporate, landed a 51K deal selling into corporate. This is Clinton, who is using this weekly moment. You've heard it referenced a couple of times, which is an event that you don't have to do it weekly, you do it fortnightly or even monthly, but it's having an event marketing strategy. That's him winning 3 more clients on his event, and really pleased with it. And we have people who go into our $1 Million Hall of Fame. So this is Christian. You get a little award if you get into the Hall of Fame, where you've gone from some revenue to over $1 million in revenue. And that's him celebrating there with the trophy. So really, really cool. And, it's great to do. So pricing wise for this, and I've got an offer which you won't be able to get hold of if you've had any meetings with us. This is a special for this challenge offer. Normally, so there's a few layers to this, right? So normally you'd be paying £697 per month, and we run offers where you can actually reduce that down to £497 per month. So it's a monthly fee for this for 6 months, and it's 497 quid a month for this. So that's a really good offer in its own right. But for people on this challenge, and we're going to leave this open for 24 hours, we're going to give you February for just £100. Then you roll into the discounted deal, the 497 for the remaining 5 months. So it's a incredibly good discount. Now the beauty of that is that you get the VA as part of that deal. You get the coaching as part of that deal. Everything, full access for that discounted rate. So if hello, and there's only 6 of those available because obviously. Hang on, I just want to get the Zoom, the Stripe link for you. So I'm going to stick this into the chat. Genuinely, there's only 6 of these available, and it does go out on the follow-up because I know there's lots of people watching on the replays for this, and people couldn't make it. So we'll be putting this out, and here you go. This is the link in here. Tammy's very kind in her messaging there, saying that. Oh, bless you, saying it's one of the best investments you've made. That's incredibly kind of you to say. So the whole point of this is I want my team to be doing this stuff for you, and I'm trying to buy the opportunity from you to do that by making it so easy to test us out for the rest of this month. We're only leaving that open for 24 hours. You would join, we would get started. You have your one-to-one kickstart session with me either tomorrow or the start of next week. We would put the plan together. You would meet your VA. You would get your software. We'd get the campaign working. We'd probably continue the momentum from this challenge. You jump in and secure your booking for that, and then the cogs start turning, and we get the campaign working. Our hope is to get you the deals in the diary, the people working with you, and to get you up to return on investment within those first 2 months. That's the target that we have. A lot of our stuff is all geared up for that. So it's around working out who you're going to target, how are we going to get those meetings, how are you going to be pitching to them, and then getting you over the line with those clients, right? So cool. So that's us. So do not delay, because that's going to only be, that will be going out to people who've been on this challenge. So if you want that, don't hang around, because once those 6 are gone, they're gone. Good. Okay, guys. I'm happy to open up to any questions that people have. If you're shooting off, great to see you. If you're joining MDS, that'd be fantastic. Looking forward to our Kickstart session. If you've got some questions, I'm happy to take them, both to do with the offer, but also to do with the challenge. Princess.
Okay, thank you so much, Richard. So I'm here on behalf of Gareth because he's a little bit busy and he couldn't attend. So we did not attend the first day. We started this challenge on the second day, and because of that, we couldn't get our outreach message together in time.
Okay.
But right now we've been able to get our outreach message out. I just dropped it on the school group now. So I was wondering if you could take a look at it and just let me know what you think.
What I do, because at 10 o'clock we're going into the $1 Million Sprint drop-in clinic. So what I'll do is, are you okay to hang around for literally 10 minutes whilst I take Dawn's question and everybody else's, and then I'll go through it with you live like this? No
Yeah,
problem.
it's fine.
Is that
It's
right?
fine.
Cool, Princess. No worries. Thank you. Dawn, over to you.
Hi, yeah, it's just coming back to my person that said, yes, I'd like to meet, but then didn't hear, and you said, oh, I could help you with that. So yes, please.
Yeah. So I would tomorrow send the just bubbling up to the surface to say, hey, Frank, just bubbling this up to the surface. I know these things get missed all the time. Genuinely interested in meeting, just Thursday next week work.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, lovely. Thank
Because
you.
even though you sent the link, sometimes people go, oh, God, I sent the link. Oh, God, So you sent a nice message with that link because we templated it. But I would still go back and say, hey, like it's all good. Like we've got, just Thursday. So what you're doing now is you're offering dates. So if they're like, yeah, Thursday, great, or Friday, you say no worries at all. And then what I would do is, once they say Friday at 10, say, great, no worries. I'll book it into that link just so you get the reminder emails. I'll see you then. And then I would personally manually book them in on that link. My team do it all the time. And the reason is that we've carefully crafted those pre-meeting reminders that I wouldn't want to leave it just down to them. But I would also send them a calendar invite in my diary as well, because and a personal email after it as well. So I kind of do the normal old way of doing it, plus also booking to the calendar thing.
Yeah.
And then you'll get you'll kind of cover both bases then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, good idea. Thank you.
No worries, Dawn. Good luck with it. Let me know how it goes. Albert, over to you. Sorry, Alert. Sorry, I did that yesterday, didn't I? Alert, over to you. Oh, go on. So you're muted. Oh, muted again. I'm muted.
Oh, could you hear me? I'm
I
sorry.
can hear you now,
It's
yes.
okay with the name. All right. So I think I kind of have the same request with Princess that just hopped off. Because I was able to share my script on the code chat yesterday as you instructed. By the way, great section. I've been learning a lot and it will help me while I work with my coach. I'm also thinking if you could find time to look at the script and just help me go over it if that's possible.
No problem at all. Yeah, I will do. I'll do that. Again, I'll do them both at the same time at the end of the session, if that's okay
All right.
with you.
Oh,
No worries.
sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard, over to you.
Just question how you would approach it. So I've had maybe 3 or 4 people, because I've been focusing on the webinar yesterday, say, hey, I'm out of town or I can't make that. My question in my mind is my next move and how quickly. Do I immediately go back and say, oh, well, let's have a coffee instead, which maybe feels a bit, you would just say do that.
Oh,
right?
100%.
I'm wondering, do you leave it for a few days or like?
Well, have you ever been fishing?
Yes.
So,
long time ago.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not a fisher. I just want to say this. I mean, I can catch a cold on a boat. I can't catch anything else. But like, if you do that, once you get a little bite, what you do when you're fishing is you give it a yank to then hook and then reel them in, right? So don't, if you're getting a little nibble, give it a proper yank. You say, hey, look, no worries. I can run you through a few of the ideas over a coffee if you fancy it.
Okay.
And so you reference the fact that, hey, so you're not saying, hey, let's have a coffee just to catch up. You're saying you've given it now an agenda and a purpose. And you say, hey, it's really, we're sharing some really cool stuff, but if you like, I can run you through a couple of the, I can run you through a couple of the highlights that I think you'd find really interesting. And if you feel that you need to give it a bit of context, I can run you through the highlights, such as point 1, point 2, over a quick virtual coffee if you fancy it.
Okay.
And then you can open the door and you say, and I'd love to hear what you've been working on.
And I'd love to hear
because then it's the quid pro quo type thing.
Yeah.
In that scenario, you want to still give the door open for them to feel like because a lot of people want to go on these virtual coffees to explore stuff for themselves, not just be sold to. That's why ideally you get the cold outreach message that's straight to the point is great, because you get people on who want to learn about you selling, whatever you're selling to them. But the virtual coffee can still have merit, but you've got to make them realize that it is, you're not pitching to them, because that's not what they've responded to. They responded to have a chat. So even if you go do the, hey, I can run you through a few of the highlights, leaving that door open to say, I'd love to hear what you're working on.
Okay, that makes sense for the webinar one. We've also got an in-person event in London. Well, no, in London next week, and a few people are just not in town or can't make that evening. So, but that hasn't got like a specific. It's more like a networking, meet some fellow leaders. We're actually doing a craft chocolate tasting. But in that scenario where there isn't a specific agenda so much, would it more be like, I'd love to get to know you anyway?
Yeah.
Do you want to do a coffee?
Yeah, I think so. I think yeah. I mean, I don't know if there is I like to get, I just wonder if there is a little bit more of a hook of what you could give for the meeting. Because you could be saying, oh, hey, no worries. One of the things that I was running through with people who are going, because you could still say that in networking, say one of the things I was sharing with people who are going to the networking was this and this. We'd love to have a virtual coffee to chat to you about it and find out a bit more about you. Just gives a bit more, you're giving a little bit more of a kind of, oh, this is worth it's worth half an hour to have a chat with Richard. He seems to know what he's talking about, sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, sorry, I had to keep going.
No, it's okay. No worries.
But one thing that really stuck with me, and I think I fall into this, is that the friend zone. I love that metaphor, right? And I think I probably do friend zone a lot of my prospects, right? In terms of like the sequencing of this, when do you kind of hit them with the offer? Like what's in your head, the way you think about it, like getting out that friend zone?
Yeah, I would, if I'm having a meeting with someone, I'm hitting them with the offer. So even a virtual coffee, like, because I'm spending my time there, right? So the whole point is that you would have a virtual coffee, say, hey, and what I would what I want to do is to get them talking about their stuff first. Because if you go in and pitch straight away, they will finish the meeting with them talking about them, right? So what you want to do is you can say, hey, great to see you. Looking forward to catching up. Was really keen to find out a little bit more about what you're working on. What are you working on now? Great. Oh, cool. Okay. What's the plan for that by the end of this year? So it's that kind of, where are you now? Where do you want to be in 12 months?
Yeah.
Okay, wicked. And then you can then say, okay, well, that's interesting actually, because I've been working on this, and actually I think that might align to your journey a bit. and then you can pitch yourself within the bridge between those 2 points that you've just got them to talk about.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's that kind of classic where where do you want to be, and then push yourself as the solution to get there.
Okay.
Yeah. Get them talking first. Yeah. So much easier. It'd be a good question answerer. Lovely. Good stuff. Okay, gang. Well, we'll finish the LinkedIn for breakfast session there. If you're $1 Million Sprinting, or if you're Alert and Princess, stay on because we'll go through that. If you are LinkedIn for breakfasters, great to see you guys. Thank you, by the way, because my phone's buzzed a couple of times in my pocket. So looking forward to working with the people that jumped onto that offer. If you have not remember or got the link, click on that link now, because then it will be up on a tab as you're considering this, and we will loop back with a couple of reminders as well. So do jump onto that. Loads of fun stuff ahead. So I will see you guys in due course.